Hey everyone, welcome back. Adam from Underground Hive here with part 4 of the mix breakdown series for the song Under the Moonlight. If you have not listened to the song by now, shame on you. The link is in the description. It's on every major streaming platform. It is even, believe it or not, on Napster. I know that's hard to believe. A song is on Napster, or Napster is even a thing, but apparently it is. I don't know. We just tell DistroKid to send all our stuff out to the internet somewhere and it goes. In fact, I'm going to wait here for everyone to listen to the song. So go, hurry up. This won't get awkward or anything with me just staring at the camera for 5 minutes without doing anything. Okay, that was weird. I can't do that. Anyway, part 4, guitars. As we talked last video, I wanted to do keyboards before guitars because keyboards have a more it's more of a keyboard song oriented song than a guitar oriented song. Guitars, I think of the guitars in this song as more of a supporting role. Dylan will agree. He's certainly had his moments in the spotlight. Maybe I'll do a mixed breakdown where he has a guitar solo and we can go through that and you can awe at his shreddedness, whatever, how you ever want to say it. Anyway, so we have a number of different guitar sounds in this song. He's recording on a couple different guitars. Strategy was double tracked and hard pan. So we have best way to get wide guitars is to do 2 different performances and then hard pan them. You can do, there's a JS pseudo width or stereo width or whatever. I think it's pseudo stereo width. I don't know what it's called. It's one of those things out there. It can kind of work, but really you don't get a true width in guitars until you double track them. And I'll show you a trick that I use here to make them sound even wider. All right, here we have our Reaper session. First thing, you'll never guess what I'm going to do. Okay, maybe you will. I'm going to put this on right away even before playing any guitars. I use a rhythm electric guitar preset, and I turn off a lot of the things, and I just kind of get it to get where I want. So I'll start playing guitar, the first 2 guitars here, and I'm hitting it pretty good. You can see I'm getting almost up to 0 in times. There's some heavier parts later on. This one's actually pegging it, but it still sounds good. So whatever. So we'll start with the first 2. These are going to be the verse guitars. And the way we write a lot of our songs is, you see, like, why don't we have all this just on one track? Because they're pretty distinct sounds. So what we do coming in is we just record the different sound on a different track, so I can EQ it separately and compress it separately and don't have to worry about it. Almost treat it like a separate instrument like you do with the keys. It's very rare when we have one guitar sound through a whole song. Dylan's kind of the master of effects on guitars and using them to the advantage of the song itself. So there's a lot of reverbs, a lot of delays, a lot of spatial stuff going on. So I'll play these and I'll go through what I'm doing here. And I won't play there. I'll play back here. This is the verse guitar. So this is going on in the verse, the first part where we say, under the moonlight again. And anything that's not like a distorted chorus. So make sure I get this set up right. All right. Let's see if I can get these set up because they're left and right. All right. So the first thing I do is I hit it with the Shep 73. Like the keyboards, I love this for guitar. And before I turn it on here, what I like to do is I like to take a frequency or 2. In this case, I only did 1. To make it further wide, if you take a frequency on, say, the left guitar and you boost it, you take the exact same frequency on the right guitar and you cut it, you get even more separation. So you get like, I do usually 3 dB. In here, let's see, yeah, it's 3 dB at 1.6K. And then here, it's negative 3 dB at 1.6K. And it's just a really cool effect. You actually get 6 dB of separation when you do that. And I also did a high pass filter at 160 on these. I have the lows turned on, but I'm not using them at all. I just forgot to click it. And then I have the goody, you know, preamp goodness. So here's with so it kind of just gives it an extra width. What I will also do if I had a different EQ plugin, which I really like the way this sounded, so if I use another one, SSL channel is really good. Otherwise, just like the re-EQ will work just fine. You do it twice. So you boost something on the left, you cut it on the right, and then you finally get the frequency you really like on the right, you boost that and you cut it on the left. You get like 12 dB of stereo separation with that move. So then the other thing I did was hit it with the 2A. And again, aiming for about 3 dB of gain reduction. You don't really need as much with semi-distorted guitars. And that's it for these two. The other cool thing I did, and I'll stop the playback for this so you don't have to hear this in the background the whole time. Actually, we'll leave it going. I have a reverb that is on the send itself. And I don't know if I can show this easily on here. So reverb left, I have it panned 100% left. Reverb right, I have it panned 100% right. So what I really want to do here is I want to get the left guitar having a right reverb and the right guitar having a left reverb. My hands are probably backwards from what you're seeing, but that's fine. So let me turn the reverbs on, you can kind of hear what's going on. And it's subtle, it's not huge, and actually if I just solo one of them, even though this is panned 100% left, you hear the reverb in the right channel. And then the same with this one. You hear there's that reverb and the echo. It just makes it a little deeper, a little wider, airier, spatial, and especially for this kind of song. And I'll play the whole song right now with everything going on. So they really play a background airiness, background kind of music style to them. So we'll move on to the next guitars, which are the chorus, which is also used in the third verse. And I'm going to go to the actual chorus to play this because there's some things that I'll show in the last video with the automation of what I've done. And actually, you know what I can do is I can play the second half of this verse. So this is unprocessed. And they already sound pretty good. They sound pretty good. You'll notice there's a volume difference because of the way they were tracked. One just happened to come in hotter than the other. I did almost the same thing with these. Use the 1073, use the 1.6K, up by 3, down by 3. This time I did a high pass at 80 instead of 160 because I felt it gave it, 160 was taking a little bit too much out of it. So here's with the processing. And the guitars sound so good coming in, you really don't have to do a lot to them. And then again, hit them with the LA2A. And doing 2 to 3 dB of gain reduction. A little bit more on this one because it's a little louder and I probably just copied and pasted it. And I did the same trick with the reverb right and left. And this one you can hear a little bit better. You can hear that reverb on the right side a little bit louder. I still have it, almost 8 dB, negative 8 dB down. So that's it, and that's in the chorus as well. And it's like a kind of a pedal tone with this, extra little thing going on. All right, 2 more guitar tracks for you, quick. One's during the keyboard solo, and this was double tracked, and we decided it sounded better just to have one of them, and we hard panned it 100% right, and we just left it. It's like a wah kind of sound. And for this one, I did the same Shep's EQ. I actually took a little bit out of the mids. And I pretty much left it what the same was when I had a hard pan. And I did a higher low pass filter, or high pass filter at 160. And that's it for that. And then hit it with the CLA 2A. And this one took a little more aggressively because a lot of those wahs, the real loud ones, when they open up, it hits it down and it kind of tames a little bit more. And then for this one, I just added it to the room reverb. Well, you'll notice when I mentioned you want to add all instruments to the same room reverb, I didn't do that to the guitars because I'm doing this right and left reverb thing, and it just going to be too much at that point. Didn't even try it. So last guitar track is when he's doubling what I'm doing on the bass and the bridge and on the slap bass part. So we have. So this one we wanted right up the center, going right along with the bass. And I hit it with the Shep 73 again. 1.6K is like a magic guitar, and I hit it at 4.6, and then I took a little bit off at 110. I took 5 off, but I also put a high pass filter all the way up to 300. So I don't know if this one isn't even doing anything because I took it off. So that's really it. And then again, for this one, because it's more of a percussive, the 76 does better on a percussive type. So I just take the guitar preset, set the input gain, still hit that 3 to 6 dB gain reduction, and then along with the bass, and then I added the short reverb to it. So it almost sounds like a transistor radio or telephone megaphone style sound in it, but it adds just a little bit. So if I'll play the whole thing here with all the instruments. Satisfied, she's on the. I mean, I could almost do that with like an octaver on the bass, copy the track and pitch shift it an octave up, and then mess with the EQ and make it clean. But it works well. I mean, that's what he's playing along with me when we play it live, and it for the recording, it works well doing that. So that was one of the fastest videos I've done. I didn't babble as much. Guitar made it easy again. Like with my bass, Dylan's guitar, he has very, very good control over his tone and his technique and what he wants in this song and what he wants in a song. So he's been able to put these tracks together and have the sounds coming in really, really, really good, to the point where we've had a couple songs where I put a high pass filter at 100 hertz and I walk away, and that's all I do for guitars. So this one I had to do a little bit more to get that split going and the airiness and stuff going on in there, but that's it. So next video will be vocals. We are going to be on part 5. Vocals, there's a lot to go on. Still the same kind of techniques though, and you notice in guitar it was still it was EQ compression. I put the saturation on the folder instead of the bus instead of each track. It didn't need it. It didn't really need anything else. So it sounded great, and it worked its way into the song really well. All right, we'll see you on the next video.